One of the biggest, most persistent hesitations I hear in the tech world is about making the switch to Linux. Maybe you absolutely love the idea of an open source, totally customizable, and privacy-respecting system, but there's always that one lingering doubt, right? Can I actually do my real work on it? Well, welcome to today's explainer because we are tackling exactly that.
And hey, it's a completely valid question. Are you worried you'll lose access to your favorite workflows, your essential media production tools, or even just the video games you fire up to unwind at the end of the day? I mean, for years, the narrative was basically, Linux is amazing for servers and programmers, but totally terrible for everyday users and creatives, right? We've all heard the horror stories. Incompatible files, super janky workarounds, missing software, the whole shebang.
Okay, let's dive into this, because here's the thing. In 2026, that old narrative is literally a myth. It's a thing of the past. Uncompromising, high-end workflows are absolutely here right now. Linux is fully equipped for real, practical work across the board. Actually, scratch that. We're no longer just talking about settling for less or getting by. We're talking about incredibly robust environments that empower video editors, 3D artists, musicians, gamers, and office workers to do their absolute best work, natively. So, here's our roadmap for today's explainer. First, we'll look at visual arts and 3D creation. Then, we'll explore the Linux gaming powerhouse. Third, music and audio production. Fourth, office productivity and utilities. And finally, we'll wrap up with choosing your perfect setup. Let's get into it.
All right, starting off with Section 1, Visual Arts and 3D Creation, basically the professional creator's studio.
High-end media production is no longer locked down to traditional operating systems. In fact, some of the absolute most powerful tools in the industry run beautifully on Linux. Just look at video editing. Your choices are incredible right now. On the left here, we have DaVinci Resolve. This is the absolute industry standard for professional color grading and editing, and it runs natively on Linux. No workarounds needed. But if you prefer to stay entirely within the open source ecosystem, check out the right side. Kdenlive has become this fantastic option, and it's now featuring some incredibly useful AI subtitle tools. The point is, whether you go with proprietary industry standards or powerful open source alternatives, you absolutely don't have to compromise on features.
And moving from video over to images, the essential toolkit is just as strong. GIMP 3 is a massive, massive leap forward. It finally features non-destructive editing, which is a total game changer for professional photo manipulation. Then for digital painting and illustration, Krita remains the top choice. It's beloved by artists everywhere. Oh, and for those super tedious, repetitive tasks, Conversine offers incredibly easy batch processing, so if you need to resize or convert huge folders of images all at once, it's a lifesaver.
But when it comes to 3D work, Linux doesn't just compete, it honestly dominates. I'm talking about Blender. It is the undisputed leader in 3D creation, used professionally worldwide for animation, modeling, visual effects, the works. Armed with geometry nodes and the Cycles rendering engine, Linux remains one of the absolute strongest platforms for heavy-duty 3D work, period.
Moving right along to Section 2, the Linux gaming powerhouse. It's time to play without limits. So let's shift the energy from creating to playing. Gaming on Linux has never been better. In fact, a lot of modern games actually run smoother here, especially if you have an AMD GPU with their fantastic built-in driver support. But the real secret engine making this all a reality, that's Proton. Built by Valve, Proton is this foundational magic, a compatibility layer that silently translates Windows commands into Linux commands in real time. What does that mean for you? It means your Steam library essentially just works. If you've ever marveled at how incredibly well the Steam Deck runs, well, you've seen Proton in action. Now you might be wondering, what about games outside of Steam? Don't worry, we've got you covered. If you want to play titles from the Epic Games Store, GOG, or Amazon Luna, the Heroic Games Launcher is exactly what you need. It's brilliant. For older games, emulators, and other non-Steam titles, Lutris is your best friend. And for running tricky Windows apps and games in safe, isolated little environments, Bottles is your go-to. You basically just map your specific gaming needs to the right launcher from this list, and you are entirely good to go. And for all you performance enthusiasts out there, Linux gives you incredible control. GameScope lets you force custom resolutions and scaling, which is perfect for dialing in a tailored experience. Then there's MongoHood, providing those highly detailed on-screen FPS and temperature overlays. It gives gamers the exact same telemetry and control they'd expect from Windows. You can even use Overlay or Goverlay for a super easy graphical interface to set the whole thing up. And to get all of this working right out of the box,
Specialized gaming distros like Nobara, Bazite, Garuda Gaming Edition, and Cajaores are incredibly optimized for this exact stuff.
All right, let's head into Section 3, Music and Audio Production. Welcome to the low-latency audio booth.
Let's step out of the gaming den for a second. Now, audio latency used to be a real, massive pain point for Linux musicians, but things have dramatically changed. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is that we have professional caliber digital audio workstations, or DAWs, across the board. On the left, Ardour is an incredible open-source DAW powerhouse, fully capable of handling massive multi-track sessions. On the right, Bitwig Studio is a proprietary, paid DAW, but it offers first-class, native Linux support. And of course, the legendary Audacity is always around for those quick, easy edits.
So why is this all so seamless now? It comes down to one massive leap forward. As the source material points out, PipeWire has made low-latency audio much easier. PipeWire is literally the unseen hero of modern Linux audio. It completely solves the traditional headaches of routing audio and managing low-latency recording. It's a lifesaver. If you use a distro tailored specifically for creators, like Ubuntu Studio or Fedora Jam, PipeWire is usually set up perfectly right out of the box.
Moving on to Section 4, Office Productivity and Utilities, your daily workflow engine.
For the everyday office worker, I promise you, daily productivity tasks are completely covered without missing a single beat. You do not have to sacrifice your professional output just because you changed your OS. The cornerstone here, obviously, is the Office suite. If you have to collaborate with corporate colleagues who strictly use Windows, OnlyOffice is the ultimate solution. It's specifically designed for strict Microsoft Office file compatibility, meaning your formatting isn't going to break. On the flip side, if you want the most robust, feature-rich, pure open-source option, LibreOffice remains the absolute gold standard for independent work. And to streamline that cluttered digital workspace of yours, Linux has some seriously phenomenal utilities. Let's run through a few. For task management, Super Productivity and Planify are excellent. For note-taking, the massively popular Obsidian works flawlessly, right alongside the open-source favorite Joplin. Need to share files with your phone instantly? Local Send is magic. It really is. BTOP++ gives you a beautifully designed system monitor right inside your terminal. And Fertium, it aggregates all your messaging apps, Slack, Discord, WhatsApp, into one single clean window. Talk about a workflow upgrade.
Now, before we move to our final recommendations, I have a really crucial piece of advice for you. Pro tip: install most of these apps via Flatpak from FlatHub. This is so important because it ensures maximum compatibility across whatever distribution you end up choosing. It means you get the absolute latest updates directly from the developers, and you won't get bogged down trying to figure out distro-specific package managers. It just keeps your core system incredibly clean and stable.
And finally, Section 5, Choosing Your Perfect Setup. Let's look at some final recommendations by user type. You see, an operating system is really about the entire ecosystem working together. So the crucial point is, well, you might want to screenshot this slide. It brilliantly synthesizes everything we've talked about into complete starter kits based on what kind of user you are. If you're a video creator or musician, Ubuntu Studio pre-packages everything you need. Gamers, grab Nobara or Bazite. 3D artists can use pretty much any modern distro to run Blender, and Office users or general beginners, you honestly cannot go wrong with the stability and familiarity of Linux Mint or Zorin OS. Pair these distros with the essential apps we just discussed, and you've got a world-class workstation.
And that brings us to the end of our explainer today. As you've seen, Linux in 2026 is no longer about compromises. It's about building a tailored, incredibly powerful environment that respects your specific workflow. So I want to leave you with this question to think about. Which Linux workflow are you most excited about? Are you eager to set up a killer gaming rig, a seamless music studio, or maybe just a highly organized, distraction-free office space? Let me know down in the comments. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button if this helped you see the true potential of modern Linux. Thanks so much for learning with me today.